Happy Thursday to you. This is John McEntyre Money Show Live. I'm John McEntyre. Today is Thursday, January the 16th, 2025. Finally said it without a mistake. It is January and it is 2025. Like I said, getting better and better with that. Since I don't have to write checks and do all this type of stuff, everything is pretty much um, auto completed. Dates and stuff really don't bother me anymore like they used to. I mean, it would be 6 months, not 6 months, a month or two into the year, and I'm still putting the previous year's date. So I'm getting good at it. But today is Thursday, like I said, and have a good show today. But you know the routine. We're going to share some wallet wins, um, and then we'll get into today's subject as we continue our for lack of a better term, what it takes to get on track financially in 2025. Our series on getting on track in 2025. I've been thinking about a lot of stuff today, so I'm having to slow myself down, and so I can get focused here and be present here. It's one of the things I always talk about. People when they're taking care of projects or doing whatever, make sure you're fully present. So I'm having to tell myself to be fully present. Well, all right. So let's get into these wallet wins. This first one is a good one, a good and honest. I paid cash for 80% of Christmas, and I used credit cards on the rest. But I have paid off the card. That's good. And my goal next year is to use all cash for Christmas. That works for me. You had a plan going in. It just didn't like spend a lot of money unnecessarily and all recklessly. And you actually had a plan. And it sounds to me like someone that this wasn't the first year that they did this. Sound like there has been a plan every year to make something happen because I've worked with people that way. They had a particular goal. They said this year I only want to spend 50-50 on Christmas. 50% cash, and I'll use a credit card for the other 50% and pay it off. And the next year it would be 75%, and then with the goal being 100%. And I've seen it work time and time again. As long as you have that goal, as long as you have the goal, you'll make it happen. So good for you. Wallet win number two, I opened my health high yield savings account and moved my money from the old savings account that was barely giving any interest at all. So that's a smart move. That's a win there. Moving there, being intentional and being conscious about where your money is being, where you're keeping your cash, everything's like that. Because if there's a high yield savings account out there is giving 5%, why leave it in a regular savings account that may only be paying one or a quarter or something like that, just enough to say that it is doing interest when we all know that it's really not. So that is a very good one. Wallet win number three, I completed my net worth statement, and it was very eye-opening. I should be much further along. Wallet win, you completed your net worth statement. I should be further along. Don't go into condemnation. It's not going to benefit you whatsoever. As a matter of fact, sometimes, and I just give this quick little mindset. I normally say these types of topics for Mondays, the mindset. Um, don't go into the blame and the condemnation because it's just not good for you. It disempowers you, the whole 9 yards. Um, just keep it positive. You've completed your net worth statement. And remember that you've taken responsibility. You want to take responsibility for your circumstances, but you don't want to go into that blame game. It's my fault and this, that, is, because then you start chipping away at your identity and your esteem and everything, and your confidence. Your confidence will start to wane, and you may not stick with your plans because you just don't have that confidence, and you're in a negative state of mind with this particular situation. So let's leave it there. You completed your net worth statement, bam, and you're moving forward. And that's good enough. That's all it needs to be. The rest of the stuff is irrelevant. Now, learn from the mistakes. It's okay to look at the mistakes and everything. Look at those, learn from them, and then move on. Just say, what am I going to do different? What am I going to do better? And you're good. Leave the rest behind you. Let it go so you can grow. Sounds cliche-ish, but it is the truth. It is the truth. All right, so we have 3 good wallet wins there. And if you have wallet wins you want to share, make sure share them. Put the uppercase. Put not that's for the questions. If you have a question, uppercase or capital Q. I see the question. I will make sure and answer it. If you have a wallet win you want to share, put the hashtag wallet win. I see it in the chat. I will share it. I want to thank everyone for sharing their wallet wins and giving me these questions. So let's get into today's topic on getting on track financially for 2025. We talked about completing a net worth statement to know where you are. Talked about completing a budget to tell that money what to do. I spent the past couple of days talking about the different types of insurance that you need as you move through, as you move on the path to financial success. And today is the big one. I know people are like, when is he going to talk about it? Today is today. And that topic is eliminating debt. Um, if you're going to achieve any level of financial success, you're going to have to get debt under control and eliminate it. Probably one of the biggest barriers to financial success is too much debt, just excessive consumer debt, credit cards, personal loans, things like that. It just chips away at your financial success and your goals. The money could be used mainly because the money could be used elsewhere. All of that money that you're paying, um, in interest and prolonged payments. That could be money going into savings, building an emergency fund, your sinking fund. It could be going into your investments, taking care of insurance, taking care of college savings, retirement. That's where the money could be used. Just regular consumer debt. I've heard people saying using your money to buy doodads, things that lose value. They don't benefit your finances whatsoever. It can be a drag on your financial plan, and that's being seriously. Um, and like I said, it causes the other areas of finance to actually suffer. One of the biggest ones when it was put to me, it was like, John, the reason why you don't want to carry consumer debt is because you bought a liability. That's enough. That's a lot. It's a liability. So it's lowering your net worth, and you're paying interest. So you're paying to lower your net worth. So it's like a twofold, a double-edged sword on you. Lowering your net worth, and you're paying interest. And when you're paying interest on a liability, that means that the value is going down and you're paying interest on something that's losing value. And it just didn't make, once it was put to me like that, it just didn't make financial sense to me any longer to do it that way. That's what it is. And then I got, serious about debt elimination. If I do take on some, I make sure I get it paid off as quickly as possible before the interest type stuff starts to happen. So that's why you want to eliminate debt. Outside of a mortgage, sometimes you may have to use it on a car, and to get it paid off as quickly as possible. And I do have some parameters on how you would finance a car, and maybe student loans. If you just would not push yourself to find those uh, scholarships and grants and everything, if you're looking for the easy path, then maybe student loan, but it's going to stick around a long time. That's why people are so excited about the student loan forgiveness programs and everything, because they took on a lot of uh, student debt, and they're just saying it's been 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and they're still paying on it. And it doesn't seem like the principal is reducing. And so that's why student debt, may maybe, maybe it's a supplement, maybe, just maybe, if you've exhausted every area, then sure, you can go that route, but it should not be 100% financed. It should not be 100% financed. So you bought a liability and that's losing value, and you're paying interest on it. It just, as you can tell, it just doesn't make financial sense. So you may say, okay, well, John, I accept the fact of, being debt free is one of my goals, because every year, one of the top in three, when people say resolutions, finances is either number one or number two, with getting fit, taking care of health. It's one or two. And then when you become more specific, get out of debt and then save more. Okay, so there you go. If you get out of debt, you can save more. One will automatically help the other. So that's why you want to eliminate debt. And you may say, okay, well, I'm sold. I do want to eliminate debt. How do I go about doing it? There's different plans for getting out of debt depending on personality. Um, I'll name my four, the ones that I've seen work very well, and one of them is very uh one is very simple. The other one is simple, but not quite as simple as the first one, and for different reasons. The other two, they are, one is just unorthodox. The other one is a little sophisticated, but once you get everything set in place, it's not as sophisticated as you would think. But the first one, the first debt elimination plan is, and most everyone has heard about it. If you go to Google and you Google debt, getting out of debt, you're going to see debt snowball. Debt snowball is very popular out there. And the reason why it's so popular is because it's so simple. Basically, the debt snowball says, first list all of your debts and list them in the amount owed, from lowest to the highest, and then just start paying off each one. Pay off the lowest one first. Take all the money that you was paying on that lowest one and apply it to the next one. So if the first one, the balance was $300, and you made the payment, you paid off the $300 debt. Now take the payment of the next one plus that $300 and apply it to that until it's paid off. If that one was $500, now you paid off that $500 debt. Now take that 500 from that debt, $300 from the first one, $800, and apply it, and just move down until you get to the mortgage. Mortgage should be the last debt that you pay off, if it is the house that you plan to stay in. If it is your dream house, if it's the house you're just going to be in the rest of your life, then sure, pay it off. If not, stop there, get all of the consumer debt paid off, and then you can make the decisions, because now all of that debt is paid off. You're focusing on making sure that you fully funding your investment accounts. It may be college time, pay for college. It may be, you need to just put in more savings, but the money has something to do. Make sure it's not idle. So that's the debt snowball, simple one. The next one is called debt avalanche. Debt avalanche is where you list your debts by interest rate. So you list them from the highest interest rate to the lowest, and then you just start to pay them off. And that one, the benefit to that one is that you save a lot more money in the long run. With the debt snowball, the biggest benefit is you see quick wins. You're seeing debts actually being eliminated. You're checking off this debt. Okay, I paid this off and it's gone. With high interest rate, it may not be the smallest debt that you're paying off first. You're paying off the highest interest rate first. So people that's really into math and numbers, they like this one because they know that in the long run, I'm saving more money in interest. I'm eliminating paying off a lot more interest. So they're happy with that one. Some people that will need to see those quick wins, especially beginners, debt snowball is the best way to go. And then you can switch. You don't have to stick to one strategy. You may be paying off those high interest rate, it may be a higher payment, but something may happen. You may have to switch over to the debt snowball, and vice versa. So don't get caught up. You choose one and try to stick with it as long as possible. That's what you do want to do. You want to stick to one as long as possible. Um, but there's no hard and fast rule saying that once you've chosen one, you have to stick with it. So that's the debt avalanche. The debt avalanche, you just take the highest interest rate, pay it off, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. The next one is debt tsunami. It's not that sophisticated, but it is sophisticated in that it eliminates a lot of debt and it saves the most money. It really does save the most money, because there's things you get in place, and it works off of ratios. Um, once you take the balance and your payment, and it gives you a ratio, and then you set up all of them, and whichever has the lowest ratio number, that's the one you pay off first. And that one, I will have to break out the flip chart and everything for you to really see it. But if you go in and if you Google debt tsunami, debt terminator, I learned it from John Burley. John T. Burley, as a matter of fact. He's an investor and educator out in Arizona. He's contributed to a lot of the major books, especially Rich Dad. He wrote a book himself, but the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad uh, learned a lot from this gentleman, especially in the areas of debt. He was a financial advisor at one time, a financial planner, and he was able to retire at 32 through investments, real estate, business, and everything. And he's a great educator. He's larger in like Australia and places like that than he actually is in America, even though he is American. It's just that the strategy he took as he was speaking, the people in Australia really grabbed onto it, and he taught that way, and it's working off of ratios. So John T. Burley is his name. John T. Burley, Burley. If you looked him up, you will see, and you will be able to see his way of paying off debt. Very effective, extremely effective. Then the last one, definitely, there's other ways to get out of debt, but the one that was the most unorthodox to me is that I was working with someone, and then I saw a financial coach talking on television. She was saying when she started paying off debt, she started out doing the debt snowball. She saying what happened. It was a debt that she owed. It was a personal debt that she owed to a family member, but it was down the list there. And she said whenever she would look at her list of debt, every time she saw that debt, she would become very like irritated and emotional. And she said, you know what? Um, I'm going to tweak this debt snowball. I want to pay off this irritating debt first. And so she focused all of her resources in paying it back. And she said that gave her the energy. She looked at her list and said, okay, well, what other ones are irritating me? She said this particular credit card she had used for vacation purposes, and she was like, that wasn't smart at all, and she paid that one off. And so she just used the way she said, I just went from the most irritating to the least irritating, outside of the mortgage part. She said, and I paid them off that way. And it was mainly like the credit cards and personal type debts. Those are the ones she paid off first. And so she said, and it worked out very well. I've talked to people that I've worked with, and it's worked very well with my clients that I've worked with. Sometimes I would present it. I present all of the different ways and let them choose which one would fit best for them, and then we work that plan. And probably, and seriously, about 20% of the clients, they look and say, yes, I want to do that one. I do have some irritating debt I want to get rid of first, and then I may follow the snowball or the debt avalanche or whatever. They may use a blend or hybrid or whatever. The further along they get and the more sophisticated they come, more serious, they go over to the debt terminator and really get into some serious debt payoff, especially whenever they find extra money to apply. It's a beast of a debt payoff plan. So I hope that this was helpful today. I just wanted to talk about the importance of eliminating debt and some strategies to eliminate it. If you want to talk further about it, contact me. My contact information is on the screen there. We can talk more about it. Don't forget to share those questions and those wallet wins with us. It may be time to actually sit down and make an appointment to talk about getting on track financially. If that's the case, don't hesitate to contact us. That does it for today. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same channel. We'll talk.